consists of 3 videos. We're going to have 2 texts and then a task at the end. That'll be a separate video. There will be a couple questions at the end of each of the videos just for you guys to make sure that you really understood what the text was about. So the first one is really so that you can understand the second one. So the first text is going to be an excerpt from Genesis chapter 4, specifically about Cain and Abel. It's the story of Cain and Abel. And it's significant because the next text refers to Cain specifically, and to really understand the reference being made, you've got to understand the story of Cain. So keep in mind that this is a Bible story. It is meant to teach a lesson, but we're going to be looking at it from a literary perspective of how it's teaching that lesson and what it's trying to teach you. Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord I have brought forth a man." Later she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. And Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor upon Abel and his offering, but on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door and desires to have you, but you must rule over it." So based on this line of text right here, when the Lord speaks to Cain, he says, if you do what is right, will you not be accepted? Well, the Lord didn't accept his offerings. What does that imply about what Cain brought to the table? If it wasn't accepted, and the Lord is saying, I'm going to accept whatever you do as long as what you do is right, that tells you something about the offering that was made, right? Now Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. So Cain's upset. The Lord rejected his offering, or did not accept it at least. And Cain decides he's going to take it out on his brother, because it's now his brother's fault that he didn't get the response that he wanted. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where's your brother Abel?" "I don't know," he replied. "Am I my brother's keeper?" The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer upon the earth." Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." But the Lord said to him, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Right? So keep in mind, Cain presumably brought a subpar offering. So the Lord doesn't accept it. Cain gets angry and jealous of his brother. He responds by killing him. So, consequence for his action. He's getting evicted from the Garden of Eden. He's got to wander earth for the rest of his life. He's no longer going to be able to interact with God. And if anyone tries to kill him, or hurt him in any way, whatever that person was going to do to Cain is going to happen to that person instead 7 times over. So he's protected, but why? What is the purpose of that protection? Why does the Lord make sure that Cain isn't going to be able to be killed or injured? Keep in mind that he's trying to punish him. The punishment isn't really worth anything if it gets cut short, right? Now, does Cain accept that punishment? No. In the next to last paragraph, he says that it's more than he can bear. You're going to get me killed. So he complains, he fusses about it. And the Lord says, you're going to have to deal with it. You did something wrong. Here's your consequence. You're going to have to learn to deal with it. All right, so 2 questions for this one. It's a pretty short text. So what is the theme? As with most themes, especially themes of in stories of this nature, it has something to do with teaching about the fact that actions have consequences. So Cain takes an action, and there's consequence in return. Keep in mind that action and consequence in this case don't come immediately after one another. Something happens. Cain makes another decision. So Cain makes his offering. Cain decides to kill Abel. Cain gets punished, right? But in between there are some decisions that were made, and there's a warning given. That's kind of important because there's an opportunity to prevent the consequence if the action wasn't taken. He chooses not to take the warning. And then the other piece that's kind of interesting about this text is it uses personification. So it gives human qualities to something that's not human. Specifically, you're going to see that in paragraph 7, which is the one that says, the Lord said, what have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth. Right? So, in 2 different places, it uses personification within this paragraph. It gives a human quality to something that's not human. Abel's blood cries out. It screams. And the ground opened its mouth. The dirt, the earth, opened its mouth to receive, to drink his brother's blood. Right? So those are the two places that it uses personification. But why? What is it meant to emphasize? What is it meant to show you, to draw your attention to? It's the only place personification happens in the story. And when something is done differently, there's usually a purpose to it. So you need to think, why was that done? It's very important. I'll leave you with that for this one. There will be another video in just a minute for the last diary entry of John Wilkes Booth, which will be the text that you needed this background information for to understand when he refers to Cain. Keep in mind that when in the next text, when he's referring to Cain, he's referring to this curse, to being forced to wander, being set apart from society, and being protected so that he can't be injured. That's what's important for the next one.